Hello viewers, we're back with News OK's Parties Extra. Nancy Scar-Brown, assistant buyer for Paper & More, a local retail store for beautiful stationery, invitations, and other party items, is here today to tell us what's new in the business. Hey Nancy.
Hello,
welcome.
Helen. How are you?
Welcome to News OK. You all keep very current at Paper & More. You always have the newest merchandise, the newest things. Tell us some of the trends in the new party invitations, invitation wording, fonts.
You know, Helen, that's something we really strive to do, is buy new. You know, things have been around. You can go to a store and come back and say, well, I saw the cutest invitation at this other store. But when you walk into our store, what you're going to see on the shelves is everything is new. The buyer and myself, we strive very hard to do that, to pick the newest things for the customers. For instance, we've got some things here. This is an invitation. You could use it as a wedding invitation.
That is darling.
Darling. It has the little rhinestones here. So when you pull it out of the envelope, what you're going to see is this little rhinestone, and then you'll pull the card out, and there's your invitation right there.
That is darling. You have a lot of very unique ideas too.
We have another thing that I was telling you about earlier is that the fonts are kind of a big thing now. So when you pull this out and you say, there's a science to our success, it makes you want to read this invitation. It makes you want to come to this party when it's big and bold and you see, hey, this isn't just...
It looks like a great party.
It looks like a great party, exactly. Another one here is the little black and white. This is like a dinner party invitation. A lot of customers are using this to go back with their Mackenzie Child stuff. They're black and white.
Oh, and it looks like there's a little monogram on there.
Yeah, it's a napkin, and then there's the plate, and then you pull this out, and here's your invitation to the dinner party. So a lot of people, do the black and white Mackenzie Childs, and so this is really good to go with that.
So, and the fonts are important here too.
It is. You want it, at the end of the day, you want it to be easy for the person to read.
Right.
We get into that with wedding invitations, all sorts of different things. People are like, we want everybody to be able to read it. So, if depending on the age group that you're sending it to, that makes a huge difference. If it's teeny tiny font, you probably want to go to a bigger invitation where you can bump the font up in size.
And birthday invitations, you want print.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
they can read, the
That's
young ones
exactly
can
right.
read.
Right. And then, the kids' invitations have come so far. Now there's cutouts of cowboys or little kids jumping into swimming pools, in bathing suits.
With matching plates, napkins.
You got it.
Tablecloths.
We tend to not buy as heavy on the matchy-matchy, as you might call it. We like it to be able, when you walk into our store, that it could go for a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. So it's going to probably say happy birthday on it with a bunch of bright colors, candles. Kaspari, Design, those are just some of the couple of lines that we carry that year after year always meet our needs, always. So it's great for the customer. When they walk in, they're going to get, they're going to see something that they're like, wow, hopefully they can do one-stop shopping and take everything with them.
And you have it arranged right in your store. I like how you
Thank you. We work really hard at that. We want it to be easy shopping for the customer. And that's, some things, you can go into many, many stores and it's real busy. To me, that's hard as a shopper. I like to arrange it the way I like to see things when I go in stores. And you don't see a lot of things if it's all busy on a display. So we try to do color, shape, maybe the birthday section is together, the guest towels are together, the cocktail napkins are going to be next to the luncheon and the dinner and the cocktail plate. So we try very hard to keep it organized for the customer. So when they walk in, they're not tired from trying to find everything they need for their party. We want it to be easy for them.
And show this one. I think this is pretty. Did you show
Darling. It's like a spode plate. It's the blue and white, is really big. Time and time again, we see this beautiful colors coming back. This year, for instance, we were just talking earlier that lavender is the big color. It's been pink and brown, blue and brown.
But everything's lavender.
But everything is lavender right now. We're seeing a lot of that in bridesmaids' dresses. It's just a trend. It's just like, how it's been with the pink and brown for all these years. But yet again, the blue spode just tends to always be a classic. People always come back for this look.
How about reply cards? Do you all do reply cards?
We do them. It's different strokes for different folks on that. Some people like to just put, for instance, on an invitation like this, maybe if they're just having a party, they would put their please reply at the bottom.
That's what your favorite. That's your favorite.
Then it gives people you're asking them politely versus just RSVP. Please reply, and then you might give them a date, because if you've thrown a wedding or you've had a party and you need a head count, you know how important it is, Helen, that you want the people you're inviting to call you. Just let them know.
Right.
If they can come. If they can't, that's fine. But it's too expensive to
not
give someone the courtesy of a reply.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you might just put that at the bottom. But then, on invitations for a wedding, most people do still enclose the standard reply card that says the favorite reply is requested before, and then basically it's 2 weeks to 3 weeks before the event.
And you mentioned earlier also that there is some online replying.
There is, that kind of gets to be what we were saying earlier. It's a generation thing. It's not necessarily something I care to do or like to see on an invitation, but I do understand why people do it. 20-year-olds and so forth, that's the way they communicate. They ask people out on dates, on the texting, it's emails. That's just the way they are. But there's also a generation that's not like that. So
I have seen some on invitations.
Absolutely, and we certainly do them. But you have to be, if they want that, let's put it on there. Absolutely, let's meet their needs. But there's still an age group that flat doesn't want it on there. They want the standard, the please reply with a phone number.
How do you know how many invitations to order?
Well, for starters, you kind of get a grasp of how big your party is going to be. If you're throwing a bridal shower and you've got room in your house for 40 people, you might give the bride 45 to 60. I know that's a big gap there, but you can count on at least close to half, if not a little less than half coming, depending on the time of year. That's always a big issue.
In the summertime,
Summertime is not good. Football season is not good. We laugh all the time when the people come in and they say, we're getting married in the fall, and we're like, have you checked the football schedule? Because that is a huge, huge thing. I've even been to weddings where I went to an OU, Texas wedding one time, and there was no one there. And it was the saddest thing, because OSU was off, and it was an OSU couple that was getting married, but most of the people invited were OU fans, and they weren't there. So it's true they don't turn out.
There's kind of a little formula for that.
Yeah, you kind of have to just pick your battles. If that's the only weekend and it doesn't matter to you, go for it.
How about, you have lots of crane stationery, I think. What makes it so special?
Well, Helen, it's just the finest paper, period. Finest paper going. And we are the largest crane dealer in the state. We have, when you walk in, you have the ability to do any kind of invitation. They're called imprintables, basically, and it's the open card stock where they come in boxes of 25 cards, 25 envelopes, all the way down to the reply card. 25 reply cards, 25 envelopes. So if you want to print an invitation, on the computer with your printer, you can come in and buy them off the shelf. Now, it's going to be flat print, but that's fine. There's some people, that's the budget they want to meet, and they want the nice quality paper, but they don't care to necessarily have the thermography or the engraving or the nicer forms of print, which is just fine. But we have thank you notes, stationery, personalized stationery, everything under the sun, Crane.
Plus books full.
Tons of books, yes. We, obviously we get every book that Crane issues, and that's all the way down to sympathy notes for a funeral. We've moved cards. There's some people that, send these just fabulous we've moved cards. So, yes, Crane is an enormous portion of our business.
What about letterpress printing? That's new?
It's an old thing that's new right now.
Is that right?
That's kind of it's the hot thing, if you might call it. And it's a fabulous, way of, when you get an invitation, I'm not sure the average person would open it up and go, wow, that's letterpressed. But if you're in the business and you get something like this, you're like, wow. So that is it's a really, really awesome paper. Really what it boils down to is the paper itself. It's got lots of cotton in it.
It feels
it's very heavy. It's very, very soft versus just a plain cardstock, maybe an 80-pound. There's a huge difference in the quality of the paper. But there again,
they're beautiful.
They are, yes. And this invitation is very, very pretty. We were speaking about fonts. This is kind of a popular thing. People do the block lettering, and then maybe they would do their names in a script. It's called combination lettering, and that's been a popular trend for a couple of years now.
So when you're personalizing and printing things, how long does that take?
Well, it can be 1 day up to about 3 days. Christmas obviously is a whole nother story. You know this, Helen. It's just Christmas cards just multiply overnight in our store, it seems like. So that, can be 2 weeks on the personalization. But usually an invitation or personalized stationery, if we print it in the store, it's 2 to 3 days max. Sometimes we can turn it the same day, depending on what's going on. Our printer has been doing it for many, many years, and
how about
is a genius.
And you brought some cups to show.
We do. We have the styrofoam cups. This is a really popular thing, and we've talked about this. You love to go to parties where they serve these, have these. Life is painless when you're brainless. They're always really quirky little sayings.
They're
this
darling.
Is really cute. What color was your mood ring?
And you keep these in the store all
the
time.
These we
you
sell.
have OSU and you have OU.
We do. We try to, for each season, try to give the customer something they can come in and buy them and walk out the door instead of having to wait and order them, which is, sometimes on cups can be 10 to 14 business days. These we just got these in yesterday. These are the little letters.
Oh, they're darling.
The B's and C's, and of course we have most letters in the alphabet, but we split them a half up the middle. We did half blue and half hot pink.
And you all have a great gift wrapping business. So what do you tell us about that?
Well, Helen, I laughed the first year that I started working there. I think I came in April, and at December I walk in and there's these customers and they just bring everything that's under their tree they bring to us, if you can imagine. So that is boxes full of stuff, and that has just continued to surprise me each year at how much gift wrapping we do. But it's there again, we try to choose the newest paper for the customers, so you may or may not see it the next year depending on how popular it was. We tend to go through a half a ream, and each season we have 8 to 10 different papers that people can choose from.
And you have lots of gift sacks, which are, people use those gift sacks.
That is a one-stop shopping thing. You've got, exactly, if you're in a hurry, you're on the way to a luncheon and you need a candle, gift sack, tissue, and you're out the door. We do complimentary gift wrapping, which is a wonderful thing for customers. If you buy it there, we're going to wrap it for you. And I can't always guarantee, if we're busy, that we can stop and do it right then, but lots of times, we have the ability to just wrap it and you go on to your party. But that is a very nice plus for customers to get a gift wrapped.
And where are you all located?
We're at the intersection of May and Grand, which is north of 63rd, south of Wilshire Boulevard. So basically, right there in between. I always tell people it's right down the street from Ted's. That's how they always, if they're not from this area, that's a good landmark. Most people have already eaten at Ted's in their lifetime. So, and right by Starbucks. We're on the east side of the road. You know
what else you have? You all have stickers, you have playing cards, you have pens to write with, nice pens to write with. You have everything in the store.
How many times you and I have talked about that? We want it to be one-stop shopping. I need a graduation gift. I'm on my way to a luncheon. Do you have a candle? And then, oh, by the way, I've got a wedding this weekend. Do you have anything that meets those needs? And we try desperately to make sure there is something there for that person, because it happens. They walk in and they want all three. They want a gift wrap and they want to take it out the door. So those are the things that when we go to market, we think, okay, now would somebody use this for a birthday gift? Things like that. And if it's great and people walk in and they're like, oh my gosh, I can take all this and be done. One-stop shopping.
What about anything else about Papermore?
Oh, Helen, I just think we think it's a great place to work. It's easy, it's convenient. With Ruth's right next door, so many people take our invitations next door, and Ruth mimics them and puts them on a cake. If you have a cowboy, she's going to put that cowboy on the cake. Pregnant tummy for a baby shower, it's going on the cake. She's great. So that is, to me, is one of the best things about it. Location is huge too. In and out, very easy.
Good job. Good job.
Okay.
And we are glad to know what we should be thinking about for our next party.